You're tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
The animal, it's trap, trap, trap till the cages fall. The cages fall, the day is new, and everyone is waiting, waiting on you, and you've got
To beat you this time. I know, that's so funny though. Thanks for cutting our mics off, Steven, our producer.
You're welcome.
Yes, I'm periscoping now. Yay! Yes. Welcome to another episode of AfterBuzz TV's recap of Orange is the New Black, Season 3, Episode 11. We can be heroes. We can all be heroes.
I'm like, now I feel like I want to sing that too. We can be heroes. We can just sing the whole episode.
We're here. And I'm one of your heroes today, Megan Thomas at McScoop on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and now Periscope. Hey, I'm on Periscope. Right now, we're Periscoping. So join me on Periscope if you want to see this live as well. Who are you, beautiful heroes?
Hey guys, I'm Sterling. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Sterling Cates.
Hey guys, I'm Scott Moore. You can find me on Twitter at SMan80. That's SMN80.
Yes. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about this episode. It was all about... There we go. Yes. Okay. You can be heroes. And this episode was all about the hero that we love in Orange is the New Black, and that is Caputo. Joey Caputo.
Yeah.
Did you guys like it?
We're so close to the end, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life.
I know.
It's so sad, right?
I know.
It is sad.
Well, I don't want to think about it anymore.
I don't either.
Oh, well, let's go ahead and talk about some of the stuff that's going on. The episode opens up with Caputo getting some nookie.
Oh my God, with Natalie.
Right, I was not expecting that.
I absolutely was not expecting that.
I was grossed out. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I was very grossed out. I don't even know if I was grossed out more because it was him and Fig.
Or if it was just him.
It was just him. I'm sorry. There was nothing sexy about that at all. And clearly Fig's in a dark place in her life if she has to go to Caputo.
Right.
For some loving.
Right.
Really sad.
She's desperate.
Right, and apparently they have every week they have this meeting.
Every Tuesday.
So what do you guys think about what Fig says?
See you next Tuesday.
Right. What do you think about what she says to Caputo about him, like taking out his frustration out on her because of how he feels about himself?
I mean, it makes sense, but at the same time, that the fact that she's aware of that and still continues to do it just like makes me hate her even more. You know what I mean? Just
do you hate her? Do you feel like they both are like, well,
they're both just using each other 100%.
Right.
They're both using each other. And in a way, though, I still feel like she laid the groundwork to where they are today. Right. Because it was her from before when she was running things that the money was funneled out and they got to the point where they were so desperate that they kind of had to run in and he had to have the place taken over.
Right.
Because she didn't help out, her husband didn't help out as the senator. So in a way, it's sort of like they are using each other, but she was part of the reason why they are where they are right now.
Exactly.
Right,
so I get it.
Okay, so then we see that, she makes mention of him and how he always wants to save people and that kind of thing. And we see some reasons why. We see his backstory, which I'm glad we finally get to see.
Right.
Yeah.
And we get to see his backstory from, like, high school on up, which is cool because we don't really get that with everybody.
Yeah.
And
well,
so
he's always just wanting to be the hero, and we see that in every storyline
of his life.
He
wants to be the hero.
People walk all over him, though, isn't necessarily being a hero.
But is it a bad thing, though? Because you look at him, and of course he's trying. I think he's just trying to be a nice guy.
Well, I was going to say he's trying to do the right thing.
Right.
I mean, being a nice guy and everything, but he is trying to do the right thing.
I think he loves the feeling of being needed. And like every situation, it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to handle this. I'm needed here, and I'm needed here, whether or not he is necessarily like involved or needs to be involved. He just likes to be needed.
Well, I think he likes to be the hero, but is that a bad thing, though?
Well, it's bad when he lets people just take advantage of him all the time.
I don't think they're taking, like, okay, so for example, we obviously see how it affected him when he was in high school. He was a wrestler, tried to be nice, and now he ruined his wrestling career. He could have been at the Olympics, but he was trying to be nice with the handicapped kid. And then we see that, he's trying to do the right thing again with his band. When they're about to go on tour, he leaves so he can be a good, dad to this kid that's not his.
That was awful, though.
Yeah, here's the thing: is like he knew that she needed help,
right?
And had a baby on the way, doesn't have any money, blah blah blah, and that it was with his band.
But that was the crazy thing; it was with his bandmate, so he let his bandmate go off.
That's right, and let his bandmate go off and get all the claim to fame, a band that he started.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that when she said at the end, after she leaves him again, when she says that he can't spend his life holding the door open for other people and then be mad when they don't say thank you.
Which is true.
Which is true.
And I think just in life in general.
Yeah, and I get that. And I think that's the only reason why if him being trying to be the hero doesn't work, it's only because he expects the credit that comes with doing something good.
100%.
But a real hero, good guy doesn't expect that.
Exactly.
Well, but we see Caputo always getting frustrated when his work isn't necessarily, well received, or people don't notice it, or whatever it is.
But it kind of goes back to what you were saying. Like he does it almost in a way because he gets that satisfaction of feeling like he's needed.
Right.
Well, and he wants the praise for it too. So that goes with what Megan was saying about that's not really what a hero does.
But he's, I like him though. He seems like a good guy.
I do like him.
He's a good guy, right?
Right. And he wanted to try. Yes. He wanted to do the right thing because he still loved his girlfriend, and he wanted to do right by taking care of the baby as his own and giving up his dream to basically take care of his family.
Right.
Which
is
admirable.
Right.
Crazy admirable. Especially when it's your own bandmate. It'd be one thing if it was some rando ex that lived in town or left town or whatever, but the fact is your own bandmate and you're giving that up to let him go do that.
Yeah. Right. And that decision is what led him into getting involved in the prison, because that's how the job he had to get.
Exactly. And he's been at the prison ever since.
We would have never known him.
And shout out, we see Rosa, by the way. We see Rosa.
That was great. I know, I love that. That was great.
It was good to have her back for even one little flash.
Yeah.
And so, of course, we see that Caputo's done this whole nice guy, and he always finishes last, it seems. So if we fast forward, we'll see that in the COs are wanting to start a union. Obviously, because they got kicked out, they need it. They don't have any benefits. They don't know what they're doing. And I see the tug that he has to deal with. Like, on one hand, I want to be with these guys because they're right. On the other hand, I also want my job.
Exactly.
And so he's dealing with that. This episode for me showed that Caputo is a really decent guy, because sometimes I was like, is he going to cross the line and be like a really, really bad person? Like, because, everybody has a good and bad side.
Right.
He does too, but at this episode, I went, you know what? He's on my good list.
I agree.
Yeah, he has the gross, creepy sexual side.
I was going to say, we can't forget about his things he does in his office.
Right, that gross side, but he is in general trying to take care of his people, again back to like his family, and now he's trying to take care of his people and his employees there at the prison and make sure that they're compensated for and they can help and what he can do for them. So
right. So let's talk about him and Angie. So Angie, of course, she gets released. But not really.
Yeah. If I had that opportunity, I would probably.
No, she's right, and that's what she says when Caputo comes to pick her up. She's like, "You can't now. Come on, you can't play me."
He's like
who
right,
wouldn't have done this? Right. I would have done it too.
Exactly.
But I probably would have got on that Amtrak and kept it moving.
Yeah, I would have been out.
I would have been in Jersey, like I don't know anywhere, but I'll find somewhere.
Right. Exactly. I will get as far away from that prison as possible, and then figure out what I'm going to be doing.
Right. So sad. So yes, the CO Psychowitz gets her mixed up with another Rice, Sarah Rice, and they release her. Now, the crazy part is that this goes back to the bad training, the lack of training for the new people. Obviously, she doesn't even know that she released the wrong person. The system is messed up. It's throwing out wrong numbers for
they had
inmates
the wrong
with the
ID
names.
numbers with the names, and even the fingerprints didn't match up in the picture ID, and the guy was like, all right, sure. They don't know the difference.
He looked, and he's like, okay.
But wait a minute, I didn't look at the picture though. I didn't know.
It was
kind of.
It was hard to tell, but the fingerprints didn't match, and he did a long look. You thought, oh, she's gonna be caught there, and then he was like, okay, whatever.
Right. And I love how when she was, obviously getting released at the bus station, and Pensatucky's there, and she was like, Angie, I just call her Angie because she looks like Angelina Jolie.
I love
Such a good friend.
Yeah.
It's like, he's not going to rat her out. Like, go ahead.
The only thing
live your
about
life.
that scene that makes me nervous is that obviously Coates is the one, he like kind of caught on for a second there, and he is responsible for that whole releasing her at the bus station. But in Caputo, when he gets the call about the prisoner, he's like, oh, who is it, Coates? And he's like, I'll handle that later or whatever. So if Coates knows that Doggins or Pennsatucky was lying about it, it makes me nervous for her because.
Well, no, I mean, because she could have said, I don't know. I didn't know that she wasn't supposed to be released.
Right.
I don't get to see her paperwork, so I don't think they would have blamed her. She just drives.
Well, I think that Coates personally could take it out on her.
Well, she can still be like, I didn't know. He doesn't know she hangs with her. Even though they both have backs.
I know, it's true. I get it, though. I do get it.
Makes me nervous.
Yeah.
But when Caputo comes to get her, I really like that she was like, can I just finish my soda? I'm going back to prison. He's a nice guy. He's like, come on, let's just, I'm not going to call the marshals. I could have, and then you would get more time on your sentence. But
at the same time, he's also saving his ass because if he does turn her in, then that's his job.
Right, because the prison release is on his watch when it's all said and done.
Right.
So he's protecting himself, too.
And I would have been like, wait, I didn't understand why he said that, we can either do this easy or I'll have to, get other people involved and then you'll get more time added to your sentence. I don't think she should get more time added, even if she did, go back forcibly. She could have been like, it's not my fault you guys released me early.
Really not her fault.
I don't know that your system was messed up. This is my ID number. Yeah. So, yes, I was supposed to get released.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough though because she wouldn't. Because
you don't know. Somebody you could have been like, well, I thought they let me out for good behavior.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, they said Sarah Rice or whatever, and she was just like, yeah, that's me.
I would have just been like, no, that's not. Oh, no, they got my name wrong, but my ID's right. So this is about me. Let me out. Bye. Where's my bus ticket? All right. So, then we see that there's a conversation that Caputo has with Danny. And it's about, the issues that he's having with the COs. And Danny basically tells him, you need to worry about yourself. Stop worrying about all these people. I thought, when he said that, I really thought, okay, you know what? This is what's going to make Caputo turn into a bad guy. Because he's teetering, right?
Yeah.
He's got some weird ways. But he ends up still being a good guy. Because at the end, we see that he decides to join the union as their rep.
Yeah, because at first he walks in and you think, okay, he's not going to. Right. And then by the end of that scene, he's like, all right, I'm going to cross the line and I'm going to help you guys.
Right.
Yeah,
well, they're all like, we need you. And he can't ever turn that down,
Right.
Again, kind of going back to what you were saying, kind of that feeling of being needed. Just one other quick comment about Angie, though, the thing that we've talked about in the past, about the women that get released from prison that have nowhere to go, and that and it kind of emphasized that again in this episode. It's like she had no idea where she's going, so that's why she was still at the bus station.
Right.
She hadn't even left, and
she didn't have any money. Or,
it's one of those bigger problems again that we have with people we've talked about in the past with recidivism and other things. It's like they have nowhere to go and they get right back into bad behaviors, and that's why they need to do a huge manhunt because she was right there.
Right.
So it's one of those things again that the show that parallels kind of real life and bring up those issues again too. That I think are really important.
I love this show. I will say that. All right, so then let's talk about something else that's going on here with Suzanne. Suzanne's writing her stories, and she's kind of tired of it because, everyone's in her head.
She's like the fans and all their opinions.
Right. Oh, the life of a writer. It's so horrible. And
a popular writer.
Right. Yeah. And, of course, she decides she doesn't really want to write anymore, and the COs find her story and find that it's disturbing. And even more so, Donaldson is found out to be Rod Cocker. Admiral Rod Cocker.
He's like, why is everyone calling me that?
That's hilarious. I was not expecting that at all.
Right.
It's hilarious.
It's funny. It's funny because, they're always in charge and, telling the inmates what to do. That's kind of like they're like, hey, now you are feeling uncomfortable in this place. I actually like that.
I do.
So they it's brought to Healy's attention that all this stuff is getting written about Admiral Rod Cocker / Donaldson. And he doesn't like it, and Healy's happy to find out that Birdie is allegedly the reason that Suzanne feels the need to write this stuff. And you can see it in his face. He's like,
oh yeah, because now he has something on her.
One of my favorite, just small parts of this episode, and just really that scene, is when Suzanne's watching Healy read it, and she's like expecting him to love it, and like because she's been getting all this praise from all the prisoners, and so she's like, and he's like, what? This is so disturbing. I just love her in general.
I know. I actually love what they've done with her character this season.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's kind of like, well, what was she going to do? She went from being just crazy, like super bat crazy, and then you see her being like a follower to V last season, and now you see her coming into her own.
Right.
Yeah.
And actually having,
And that's a good thing that she says that too when she talks to Poussey, and she apologizes for beating Poussey up.
Right.
And she beat her up over V.
Yeah.
And she says something really telling, which is, you know, V made me feel like a person, not like some weirdo or crazy.
Right.
Like, and I think that's that's all that anyone wants, especially in this place. Like, just love.
Just wanna feel
Want to be loved. Want to
Mhm.
feel like you matter.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they made up, and they're
Me
cool.
too. Yeah.
Me too. And she got Emmy nominated for her character.
Yes, she did. Uzo
yay.
Aduba. Shout out to
Yes.
Suzanne.
Yay.
So proud of her for that. And so then, of course, Healy tells Pearson that Birdie is the reason for this crazy story because Caputo's out finding Angie, and they put Birdie on leave.
Yeah.
Which is sad.
Which is sad because she's the only one in that place that knows what they're doing.
Right.
Yeah, she really, and she's right. She says, "I'm really good at what I do, so I'll be back."
I'm going to be
Right.
back. And she also calls out Healy, and that same thing that we've talked about for 3 seasons, sort of his
sad.
misogynistic, his set, like what is his reasons behind the way he is.
Right.
She said he's a vengeful little man.
Yeah.
Oh, he is.
He is, but I mean, she basically calls him out on what we as the audience have been wondering all this time of like, he has issues and he'll do whatever it takes.
He's like, you're just walking around here like you're better than everybody. I was like, did she? Like,
doing that?
I just thought she was just doing her job. I was like, oops, okay. Yeah, so we'll see what happens with her. I think she's definitely coming back.
She'll be back.
I think they need to fire Healy. Do you think they should fire him?
I think he needs to be on leave. If anyone needs to be on leave, he needs to be on leave.
I don't know. He hasn't really done anything.
I know, that's why it's hard to put him on leave.
He just, I don't know.
He's a weirdo.
He is, and that's what I'm saying. At least she called him out on that, and finally to his face, because I don't think anyone else has. And
I think he's just really
these 3
sad.
seasons.
And like jealous of her. I don't know.
I mean,
But again, he has these issues with women and women in power, and he's always had these weird issues with that. So
yeah, it's a little creepy
hard to
for
say.
me. It's a little creepy.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about Alex and Piper. And this is your favorite couple, huh, Sterling?
Let me say I loved the end of this episode.
So then, of course, we see that Alex apologizes to Lolly for beating her up.
Right.
And I
Tells her she's in the CIA.
right, just so she's speaking Lolly's language
that was so funny.
I think this is a cover, guys.
What do you think's a cover?
Lolly is not crazy like that. Like, I'm telling you.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
I think she's crazy, but I kind of agree with what you're saying. That's a cover. I still don't think it has anything to do with, Kubra or anything, because it's just, to me, it's too perfect for that.
I think she's just crazy. I think those episodes, they were leading us up to believe she was really out to get Alex, but now we just know that she's crazy.
I don't know. Yeah. I just don't. Like, as I'm watching, I was like, that's too easy.
You're not
she's
sold.
But it would be too easy if she was there for Kubra, though, too.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know.
What could it be?
Because now it's like, okay, her defenses are down against Lolly, because she's like, oh, Lolly's not a threat. She's just crazy.
Yeah. So she's got her right where
that's what
she
I'm
wants
saying.
her.
That's what I'm saying, guys. We're going to see. And then we also see that Alex apologizes to Piper for being on her crazy, paranoid, whatever. And
Piper goes, I forgive you. Like, she didn't do anything wrong. I was like, Piper, that is that same Piper stuff.
Yeah.
She is.
I know. I did the same thing when she did that. I was like, really?
Oh, really? You did cheat on her.
You're not growing at all. You're in the
we're
same
not growing.
person with the same issues.
I don't like Piper's character much.
Right now.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think I like
ever.
Listen, I think
agree.
this entire season, I don't think every episode I keep wanting to like her more, and I like her idea for the whole penny scheme. But outside of that, this whole entire season, I haven't really liked her.
Well, that's exactly what, going off what Scott just said about her character not ever growing or evolving, or she's just that same like. It's all about Piper all the time. Right. But we see a lot of these characters go from being characters that we hate to characters that we love, villains in the story people were cheering for. And I think for me personally, the person that most is like that is Pennsatucky, because I mean, she was so bad. Was it season 2 or season 1 or whatever it was? And now, like, my heart, like, I just love her so much. You know what I mean? So it's like we don't have that with Piper. That evolution.
Why can't
of her
we have
character.
that?
I know, right?
wanna
We don't
her.
see that growth. We don't see the multi-dimensional side to her.
It's actually getting worse.
Yeah.
Like prison makes you better. I thought you were supposed to come out a changed citizen. She's over here starting a crime network.
Yeah, and she didn't even ever think before it was brought up to her attention to have fair pay or anything like that. Like it was like, okay, I'm going to give you one flavor packet. I'm going to profit however much off of this, and not
she was
pay you
basically
anything.
Whispers over here, taking all the money.
Right, and that never even occurred to her for 1 second to even do that. You know what I mean?
But now that Flocka has found the pamphlet on unionizing, it's exactly what she does with the girls, and they talk to Piper about, hey, you're gonna have to start paying us.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to start giving us some money.
Better working conditions.
We don't want to.
Yeah.
We're not.
We can talk to our
panties.
rep.
Yeah.
She's over
I
there.
thought that was really smart for her to do that.
Yeah.
Because it's true.
Yeah.
And we saw in the previous episode the girls are starting to catch on anyways about, wait a minute, we deserve a little bit of something for this more than just flavor packs when we know how much that she's making off of us.
Right. So no more panties from the girls, but Stella is now in it. She's into the panty ring, and they seem to be going very well with their partnership or her joining with Piper in some form. But because of all the issues that's going on, Piper decides to talk to Red about. She's like, I need a crime boss. I need somebody who knows this stuff. It's like, who can I talk to? I'm thinking Red is sitting across from you. Like, who else would you talk to? And I love how Red is like, okay, I'll be your crime consultant.
Yeah.
But for 10%, and then they decide on 8%.
Red's good. This is gonna be really good. Yeah. She tells her about Money Pack, which I'm not even gonna lie, I had to rewind so I could understand what Money Pack was. I was like, oh, so I can So in the event that I need to start a crime,
right? Well, that's what I was thinking too. Well, I had heard of it, but I didn't know the details and the whole thing with putting the money on the cards and everything. It seemed very complicated, but
And she tells Piper. Red tells Piper to go she's got to find a phone. There's a lot of hiding places, and I love when she goes to look for stuff. There's stuff everywhere.
That was a great scene. That was great.
If it's that easy for her to find it, why don't they have a guard that just searches for stuff?
Because the guards,
I
think they're probably too busy dealing with the girl fights, dealing with they just are too busy doing other things. They don't have time to go search every nook and cranny.
And just have one person specifically.
But again, they don't have the money to do that, obviously, because everyone's working part-time, no benefits, they're cutting everyone's hours, and at some point I think a lot of times too the guards just don't care.
They don't really care. As long as you're not being unruly.
They're turning a blind eye to that, so
yes, and
it requires more work for them, which
well, they're going to be sorry when someone lights that place on fire with that lighter she found.
She found a lighter,
the hooch, the Jolly Rancher shank.
Which at first I was so confused. I was like, what is that? What is this rainbow shank that I see? I had no clue it was made out of candy. So awesome. Somebody's going to die from that.
From a Jolly Rancher.
Somebody's going to get sugar high.
Yeah.
Someone's getting sugar high. But I loved how she found the dime and was like, I would have just been like, ooh, a dime.
I have money.
Let me put it in my commissary. Never would I have thought, no, this is a tool to use to open the side of this computer. Love it, love it, love it. So, of course, Piper meets with the girls, and she gives them their demands. So, basically, Yogi Jones gets to wear her boy shorts, and Maritza gets to wear her thong. They get their flavor packs every week. So, this was actually a good thing.
Yeah, there you go.
And money.
And money wired to their Money Pack card, except for Flocka because she gets fired. Yeah. That was harsh.
That was really hard.
And you see how Piper fired her. She just looked at her and she was like, "You're out or you're fired."
Piper loved it.
She did.
Makes me
she did. And but Alex has made a good point about that though, about Flocka. She did.
Yeah.
It was so mean. She's definitely not the same Piper that we know, and I think prison's making her a very hardened criminal.
Yeah.
Or could you argue and say she's always been like this? It's just bringing it out of her.
I think she thinks it's fun.
I do too, and I think she always has.
And when she's talking to Alex and shows her the phone and everything, she's like, "This is so fun, so awesome," not realizing how serious the consequences are.
The repercussions.
I think she kind of likes prison.
She's gonna have to because
you know what I mean?
She's gonna be there for a long time.
That's what I'm saying is I think she likes that. And a few episodes ago when she was meeting with her parents and she was listing all the things she's learned and all the friends she has and all this stuff, and I was like, is she enjoying this? I don't get it.
I just don't think it's real to her.
Yeah, I think she's just having fun with it.
She's just it's like summer camp for 18 months. Right. I'm here.
Yeah.
Let me start a crime network. Ooh.
Yeah.
It's just not
no
real
one
for
will
her.
ever find out.
No, right. I don't think it's going to end very well for her. Mm-mm. And I'm so glad that Alex has a talk with her and was like, I don't like who you are. I don't like this version of you.
Right.
And breaks up with her.
Which is surprising hearing that from Alex, you know, who was the one that brought her into that world.
She's there because of her, right.
To begin with, is now, it's like, it's too far for even Alex.
Yeah.
Right.
So that says a lot right there.
She's out of the crime network, you know, because prison does things to people, whether it makes them better or worse. And clearly you see that dynamic here with these two. Alex is trying to get better with her life.
That's a great
trying
point.
To do better, trying to be better, trying to get out of that, you know, especially now that her life's in jeopardy with Kubra lurking somewhere around the world looking for her.
And I love her line too when she's like, I'm out of this and I'm out of that.
Yeah, I know, right?
She's done with the relationship. Yeah, and she's done with working on the
Which I say, good job, Alex.
Yeah, I agree.
Move on for that.
I would have left Piper episodes ago.
I was Piper last season.
Right?
Okay? Last season, she would have gotten left.
Yeah.
The very beginning. How about that?
Yeah.
All right. And so then there's a few other stories that we see that's happening this episode. We see that there's some rumors about Sophia, you know, still having her man parts.
Yeah.
And
that all really starts with Aleda in the kitchen. Right. It's not even Gloria.
It's not even Gloria, no.
Yeah, because of her, when she had the altercation with Gloria, she hit her. She didn't really mean to push her.
She didn't mean to.
She didn't mean to hit her face on the wall.
It was a reaction.
You know. So no one wants to go to her salon. Even Tasty's getting her hair done with somebody else. Yeah. I'm like, wait a minute, how many salons they got in this prison?
I know, right? That's what I was thinking too. When she said, I'm like, how many people are actually doing everyone's hair? Like, isn't there like one person?
Yeah. Well, I was thinking, because you forget that there are people there outside of the characters that we see. Because even like when Sarah Rice came up, I was like, I've never seen her before.
Right.
Like, of course they got mixed up.
Right. I mean, it's a good point that they bring up, because in the episodes before, when they bring that up with Alex and Piper, the whole paranoia thing, and she's like, oh, there's people here when you were here. Exactly. And it's true, but at the same time, like, how many people are there?
I feel like they should just say it randomly. They should just say, like, you know, this prison houses blah, blah, blah people. So that gives us a context of how big.
I wish they would the 12 characters.
We only know the 12 people in the 12 people prison.
Right. No, it's true, though. Like, is there 500 people? Is there, you know, like, how many people are there? Like you said, to get a little context from it. And how many salons do they have? Are people doing hair and these various jobs? Because I wouldn't think there was anyone else.
I know, right? I'm like, how many salons do you guys have? Apparently multiple.
It's like multiple stores. What is it like, you know?
Right. So we'll see what happens with that. Poor Sophia. Because Sophia just tends to be by herself. Like, she just, look, I gotta serve my time. I'm just trying to do my job, and I'm going to get out of here, like, period.
Right.
I'm not worried about you guys.
And she's dealt a lot with getting to the point of where she is, too. And sort of to have that taken away from her again is very... painful to watch.
Yes, it is. Poor Sophia. Also, we've got Soso. Poor little Soso has no friends. We see that she's kind of like, well, the last time we saw her, she was talking about how maybe she's better than everyone else. Maybe that's why they don't want to be her friend, and she's okay with that. But apparently she's not, because no one wants to sit with her at the lunch table. And that's a bad feeling. It's like, you know,
well, it's also all of Norma's followers who are supposed to be all about kindness. So I liked this scene when Soso went to the little meeting, gathering and was like, Norma, I want you to know that I'm being bullied by all these people that are supposed to be, you know, all about kindness and loving one another and silence or whatever.
Poor Norma. I hope she finally says something, because
Norma likes her Snickers.
I know, she was like,
okay.
I'm like, but no, Norma, like, I feel like, you know, she needs to say something, because now it is starting to get to
or at least write something down.
You need to write something.
No, write something, say something, do something.
I love Soso's line when she said, it's not my fault I have Pocahontas hair and you chose meth over teeth.
Right.
That's true.
Very true. Can't refute that right there. But it was really, really horrible when Soso wakes up and her hair's cut off and Leanne is just sitting there. I think it's the creepiest thing when someone's looking at you when you're sleeping.
I know.
And the fact that she just she had scissors this close to your face, and cut your hair off.
Yeah.
Like
that's crazy.
That would make me go.
That's really terrifying. I mean, her hair kind of look cute though. In the, like we have similar haircuts now.
She needs to go to Sophia and get it like evened out.
Yeah. Get some like layers.
Layers, exactly. Yeah.
Poor So it's not fun being.
I know. Well, it's sort of like that. You know, when you talk about religions and they do the beard trimmings against your will, it's sort of like it's a violation.
Right.
And for her to do that while she's sleeping, it's even more of a creepy violation. And it's like,
it's really terrifying when she like looks over the thing and she's just looking at it.
So wait, where was she sitting at? Because isn't that Chang's bed?
No, she was sitting
over
like
the partition.
Over the wall.
Yeah,
like over the partition.
Okay. So I was a little confused.
And no, I wouldn't be able to sleep knowing someone that hates me that much is that close.
Well, that's why I think it's still odd. I mean, not saying they should be locked up, but it still feels odd that they have so much freedom to move around and go into people's personal stuff and space.
Right. I would have gotten up and I'm like, no, I'm getting a CO. You have to go because you just cut my hair. So you have something sharp.
Yeah.
So you need to go to shoot.
Yeah.
See you later.
Yeah. It feels weird that there's so much freedom that can go through people's personal stuff and everything. Right.
And then we see that also with Pennsatucky and Boo finds out what's going on with Pennsatucky. She sees the bruises and the gift, the I'm sorry gift that obviously Coates gave to Pennsatucky. And Boo is like pissed, and she should be, rightly so.
Yeah.
Her friend was violated.
I love their friendship.
I do too.
I think it's so great.
Glad
I do
friends.
too.
So glad they're friends.
And it always brings out a really good side to Boo that we don't get to see in other relationships on the show. So it's great. Yeah.
Right. And then, obviously, because of how messed up Pennsatucky is with how she thinks about, how her body should be used. She doesn't think that it's really Coates' fault. She's like, well, I should, I was
like,
flirting with him.
I just used to warm up. It's all my fault. Like, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, she's in that victim mentality.
Yeah, and we saw in her background episode that that's just how she's been her whole life. And it's just like breaks my heart.
I know. But Boo is a really good friend because of what she did. Which it was a harsh lesson, but it was good because when she brought all of the snacks, I was like, I'm purchasing your services. Yeah. I don't care, though, because they're easy. That's all I have to do, right? Buy it. It's good.
Right.
Well, she's making it so that she gets what happened. Because if you say, no, like, he raped you, she's like, no, I'll make excuses for yourself. But if someone else does it, it kind of puts it into perspective.
It does, especially, like, this is the whole basis she's had with her relationships with men, but then she sees someone like a woman come on that she may not be attracted to and saying that she wants to force herself on her. It does. It puts in a different context.
Right.
But it's hard to get out of that mentality, and that's, I've had friends that have been in that situation, and they just get into one abusive relationship after the other. Because of that, cycle, sort of like her mentality that she has, like making excuses, and it was really sad to watch that.
Right, and Boo doesn't play, honey. Boo does not play. So I am so glad she has Boo in her corner helping her out with this because
she's not gonna let her get away with it.
No. And I'm excited to see what happens to him. I don't know what, but it's gonna be good. Okay. So let's talk about Dia too. Dia is almost at the breaking point. So baby's about to come.
Any day now, any minute.
Right, and we see that Maria is being nice to her because Maria went through the same thing. She was pregnant in prison. She doesn't get to see her baby. She's really sad about that. And then she finds out that Dia's giving her baby away and is like, yanks her pillow back. Like, how dare you?
Real fast.
And it's sad because Dia wasn't, talking about how, any decisions that Maria made, but because this is such a heavy topic for her, this is so, like, real near and dear to her heart that, she feels like, how could you do that? Like, I'm somebody who can't see her baby. I don't do anything to see my baby.
Yeah. And she definitely takes it personally. And when she says she's giving it up and she says, oh, so you think I made the wrong decision? When obviously Maria was never really considered. Right. But she definitely takes it personally and rips that pillow out from her. I was like, oh, no, not too fast there.
Right. Like, oh, poor Dia. Oh, I'm excited to see what happens with her and her baby because I feel like
Bennett. I was expecting him to show up maybe the next episode or the last episode he'll come up. Yeah, maybe. I mean, she's got to be having a baby soon, right?
Oh yeah, she's about to pop.
Like, I think she's gonna have the baby the last episode or something. Yeah. Like, it's gonna be this season.
It's gonna be the season
it has
for
to be
sure.
the season.
I mean, I mean, she doesn't have much time left.
Neither do we. We have 2 episodes left. So then we'll see what happens with that. On another note, I did want to tell you before we get out of here today. So I'm an actress as well. I had an audition this week for a female corrections officer, and I want you guys to know that all of the female correction officers at Litchfield were my inspiration.
Yes. Which one did you channel the most?
I channeled Maxwell, and I also channeled what's her name that dates O'Neill, the redhead.
Oh yeah, I don't know her name, but I know who you're talking about.
Yes, I channeled them. Good. Hopefully, I got the role. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll keep us updated.
Yes, and then I was on Periscope. Follow me on Periscope at McScoop. But I was on Periscope, and then one of my followers were like, "Yeah, you look like one of the prisoners. I mean, the COs at Litchfield." And it was like, either you're going for a lesbian or you're going to go in for a female corrections officer. And I was like, wait.
Okay.
Oh, okay, I get that.
Sure.
I get it. All right, before we get out of here, where can we find you guys?
You can find me on Twitter, SMan80, that's SMan80, and here also for the Defiance After Show.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Sterling Cates, and also for the Mistresses and Astronaut Wives Club After Show.
And you can find me, Megan Thomas, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Periscope at Meg Scoop, like scoop of ice cream. And be sure to use the hashtag ABTVOITNB for all of your comments. Follow us on YouTube, iTunes, SoundCloud. You can get our podcast, give us 5 stars. We'd love to hear your comments about the show and what you think about Orange is the New Black. See you next week. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later. Les Mis.
The views expressed herein are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.